So today's demonstration will be using the alternative skiver, the PS15 skiving tool, available from MLT. So to begin with, we will install the blade by removing the Allen wrench and selecting our blade. It is very important to note that the blade has two sides, one sharp side and a dull side. In this particular case, you want the sharp side to be facing away from the head of the unit. So I'll begin by installing the blade. The blade has adjustments regarding the depth that it will cut, but again, the sharp side is facing away from the direction of the unit. This is very important. The second step is to gauge the depth that I would like to cut. I will do this by placing the head of the unit on the edge of the belt to make sure that the blade is not cutting into the carcass of the belt. After I do this, I will tighten the head bolts with my Allen wrench. Be careful not to tighten this too much, because this unit is brass, and if you try to tighten too much, then you run the risk of stripping the bolts. So to remind me to do this, I always use the long end of the Allen wrench, not the short end, because if I use this end, I have the temptation to put too much torque on this. So now that I have the proper depth set with my blade, the next step is to turn on the unit. The unit has 5 settings: 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. 0 is off. This unit only works when it is engaged. So on 0, there is no heat. On the 4 setting, there's still no heat here until this unit is engaged. If I engage the unit in mid-air with no rubber around the blade would glow red and break in half. It is very important that when you're on the 4 and 3 setting for the unit, that the blade be completely encompassed in the rubber. So I'll begin skiving. Again, my depth for the blade is already set. My unit is on 4. It does not get hot until I push. As some tips, if when you are pushing the blade begins to smoke, you're going too slow. Anytime I want to stop and take a break, I can, because the moment I stop pushing, the blade cools off. Another trick or tip is to stop here, wait 1 moment, and pull this at the same time as you push. This makes for a cleaner cut along the edge of the belt. And we have made our first pass and skived the belt here and left rubber just above the top of the carcass. So I'll keep my setting on a 4, because again, it's very important on the 4 setting to have rubber on both sides of the belt, of the blade. You will see in a moment that to do the cleanup work, I will cut this down to a 1 or a 2. But for now, I need to make certain that my next cut is in the middle of the rubber, leaving a little bit of rubber on one side and a little bit of rubber on the other side. If I do not do this, the blade will get too hot and the blade will break. Now I will go do my cleanup work. So I'll turn my tool down to a 2, maybe a 1, it depends. And there's no right or wrong answer here. We know we want to reduce the heat, 1 or 2, it depends on the operator, and you will get used to making this decision. We know that 3 and 4 is too hot. I'm going to leave my unit on a 2. This piece is pretty wide. And the skiving for the first edge of the installation of the super screw is now complete. Thank you.